Hello plant lovers, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of one of the most elegant and, let's be honest, sometimes intimidating houseplants, the orchid. Have you ever received a gorgeous orchid only to watch it sadly decline after the flowers drop? You're not alone, but I promise you, with a few key secrets, you can not only keep your orchid alive, but get it to rebloom year after year. This is your ultimate guide to orchid success. So grab a notebook and let's turn that thumb green. First things first, let's talk about the most common orchid you'll find in stores. The Phalaenopsis or moth orchid. They're popular for a reason. They're beautiful and relatively easy once you understand their needs. And their number one need is light. Orchids love bright, indirect light. Think of a spot near an east-facing window where they get gentle morning sun, or a few feet back from a south or west-facing window. If the leaves turn a dark forest green, it's not getting enough light. If they start to yellow or get reddish-purple edges, it's getting too much direct sun, which can burn them. The ideal leaf color is a bright, grassy green. That's your happy zone. Now, for the big one, watering. This is where most people go wrong. The biggest mistake is overwatering. Remember, in their natural habitat, these orchids grow on trees, not in soil. Their roots are designed to absorb moisture from the air and rain, and then dry out quickly. They hate, and I mean hate, having wet feet. So, how do you water correctly? Ditch the schedule. Don't water every Sunday just because it's Sunday. Instead, check the roots. Most orchids are sold in clear plastic pots for this very reason. When the roots are a silvery green color and the potting medium is dry to the touch, it's time to water. If the roots are bright green, they're still holding onto moisture, so wait a few more days. When it is time to water, the best method is a thorough soak. Take the plastic pot out of its decorative container and place it in your sink. Water it thoroughly with lukewarm water, letting the water run through the pot for about a minute. You want to completely saturate the potting medium. Then, and this is crucial, let it drain completely. I mean completely. I usually let mine sit in the sink for at least 15 to 20 minutes before putting it back in its decorative pot. Never let your orchid sit in a puddle of water. This is the fastest way to cause root rot, which is the number one killer of orchids. What about those ice cube watering myths? Please don't do it. Orchids are tropical plants. Blasting their sensitive roots with ice-cold water can shock the plant and damage the root system over time. Stick to lukewarm water. Your orchid will thank you for it. Next up, let's discuss humidity. Since orchids are tropical, they thrive in a humid environment, something most of our homes lack, especially in the winter. A simple way to boost humidity is to place your orchid on a pebble tray. Just fill a shallow tray with pebbles and water, making sure the bottom of the pot is sitting on the pebbles, not in the water. As the water evaporates, it creates a nice little humid microclimate. Grouping plants together also helps increase humidity. A small humidifier nearby is, of course, the gold standard if you're really serious about it. Now, let's talk about feeding your orchid. They're not heavy feeders, but they do appreciate a little boost during their growing season, which is typically spring and summer. Use a balanced orchid fertilizer, diluted to half or even a quarter of the recommended strength. The rule of thumb is weekly. Weekly, a small amount of fertilizer every week is better than a big dose once a month. When the plant is not actively growing new leaves or a flower spike, you can cut back on fertilizing to once a month or stop altogether during the winter. And always water your orchid first before you fertilize to avoid burning the roots. So you've mastered light, water, and food. Your orchid is healthy and has grown a few new leaves. But how do you get it to rebloom? This is the magic trick everyone wants to know. The secret is a drop in temperature to initiate a new flower spike. An orchid needs a temperature difference of about 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit or about 5 to 8 degrees Celsius between day and night for a few weeks. In the fall, you can achieve this by moving your orchid to a cooler room or placing it near a window that gets a bit chilly at night. But be careful of drafts. This cool-down period mimics their natural environment and signals the plant that it's time to produce a flower spike. Once you see a new spike emerging, it's a moment of pure joy. You can then move the plant back to its regular spot. A flower spike is typically mitten-shaped at the tip, distinguishing it from a new root, which has a smooth, rounded tip. As the spike grows, you may need to loosely clip it to a stake to support the weight of the future blooms. Be patient. It can take 2 to 3 months for the spike to fully develop and for the buds to open. What do you do after the flowers have faded and dropped? Don't give up on the plant. Look at the flower spike. If the spike is still green, you have a choice. You can cut it back to just above and node those little brown bumps on the spike. This might encourage a new, smaller branch of flowers to grow from that node. It's a quicker way to get more blooms, but they're often smaller. The second option, which many growers recommend for the long-term health of the plant, is to cut the entire spike all the way down to the base. This allows the plant to put all its energy into growing stronger roots and leaves, which will result in a bigger, more impressive bloom display the next time around. If the spike has turned brown and dry, you should always cut it all the way down. Finally, let's briefly touch on repot. You'll only need to repot your orchid every 1 to 2 years, or when the potting medium, usually bark chips, starts to break down and look like soil. When you repot, gently remove the old medium. Trim any dead, mushy or papery roots with sterile scissors and place it in a new pot that's just one size larger. Use a specialized orchid potting mix, never regular potting soil. After repotting, wait about a week before watering to allow any cuts on the roots to heal. And there you have it, the not-so-secret secrets to orchid success. It all comes down to understanding their unique needs: bright, indirect light, careful watering based on root color, good humidity, and a little fertilizer. And for those coveted blooms, a simple temperature drop in the fall can work wonders. Orchids aren't difficult, they're just different. Once you get into a rhythm with them, you'll be rewarded with stunning flowers that can last for months. I hope this guide has demystified orchid care for you and given you the confidence to grow these beautiful plants. What are your biggest orchid challenges? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you and helping out. Thanks so much for watching today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more plant care tips. Happy growing, and I'll see you in the next video.